Oh, seems good. Alright, hello guys. This time I'm going to answer some questions related to my proposal. I'm doing this because my lecturer is asking me to prepare myself for the seminar proposal. So I got 40 45 questions here. So I'm gonna answer these questions. So let's start with the chapter 1. There are 15 questions related to chapter 1. And the first question is about what historical theories have influenced the development of language learning strategies. Historical theories. If it's about the research that have been done by the experts, of course there are a lot of experts that have been done research about this field about language learning strategies. For example, like Rubin 1975 or O'Malley 1990 or Oxford 1990 as well. And of course, the result of the research have a good impact on the development of learning language. And yeah, that's what I know. If you want to know about that more, you can just search it on Google. The second question is how the individual differences such as age and learning style impact the choice of language learning strategies. Individual differences, age and learning style. Of course, I think it is have a big impact on the choice of language learning strategies. Like for example, the age. The difference of age actually play a big role. Like for example, let's just take an example. The students like in the kindergarten would be would like to study with while playing. Like for example, if the teachers provide games and study while studying, the kids will love the kids will study will be engaged to study, right? And what about when we move to the like junior high school or senior high school? Even though that kind of thing sometimes will work, but it's not good to always play, right? So in the junior high school or senior high school, teachers should give like a practice, and then the students do that, and then they do a presentation to recall information of what they have been learned. So maybe yes, it does have a big role. And then number three, what role? Oh my gosh, what is that? And then number three, what role does motivation play in the selection and effectiveness of language learning strategies? Role of motivations. I don't think. I think it's vice versa, dude. I think if people find a good strategy to learn something, like it helps them to faster their learning process. For example, let's just take it math. If people can learn math faster with that kind of strategy, of course that will increase their motivations, right? So that's what I think. Number four, how have advancement in technology changed? How have advancement in technology changed the landscapes of language learning strategies over the years? Advancement in technology. Yeah, of course, of course, that have a good impact as well. Like, just think about the older people, the older people in the past years who cannot get uh, information easily like nowadays from the technology. Like maybe they found it hard to find sources that provide information related to their to the topic that they want to learn. So like nowadays there are a lot of technologies that provide source information like in the scholar maybe or maybe in the YouTube you can just see the videos and people explain it to you, right? So of course that change the landscape of language learning strategies. Number five, what is the relationship between cognitive development and the use of language learning strategy? Cognitive development and the use of language learning strategy. There is a strategy that relates to the cognitive. So if it's about the relationship between cognitive development and the use of language learning strategies, of course, people uh, who love to use their cognitive ability, they much they will uh, they will prefer to use the cognitive strategy, like for example, uh, elaborating, like making use of the prior knowledge to the new information, right? Or maybe for example memorizing or repeating the same sentence to memorize it. So yeah, it'll be so much fun for the people who are often make use of their cognitive ability to develop it more. And then there are a lot of questions here, so I'll just continue it to the next chapter, chapter two. 5 questions per each chapter. That would be so good, I think. Right, the number one for the chapter one is chapter two is, what specific strategies do you use to improve your vocabulary in a new language? I don't think it's I don't think it's much relates to my proposal, but that's okay. If you ask about my strategies to improve my vocabulary, I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that. I often read books, or yeah, I often read books. Just say it's book. It's actually a comic, right? So read. I often read comics in English, and also because there are a lot of new vocabulary, but that's not a good thing because the language in the comic is a informal one, while I'm studying in the formal language, so I don't recommend it. But if you want to improve your vocabulary, you can just learn through YouTube or reading novels. Novels not that good as well. You can just start to just try to read some research, or maybe listen to a song. And if you find a word in the song that is you feel it's new to you, you can just search for the translations. Yeah, that's my technique, I think. I'm not really sure though. And then the second question is, how do you incorporate listening practice into your daily routine? Incorporate listening practice. Yeah, daily routine. I often listen to a song while doing my daily activities. Like for example, when I uh, too tired and want to take a break, I listen to a song. So that would also improve your listening skills. And for example, even if you are doing your maybe for example sweeping the floor, or maybe uh, washing the dishes, you can just listen to a song or a podcast or something like that in English, of course. That will so much likely to improve your uh, listening skills. That's not that's not much related to my proposal. I will look for question that is much related to my proposal. Number the number five. The number five questions. What strategies do you find most effective for mastering grammar rules? For mastering grammar rules, strategies that is the most effective. Grammar rules. Ah, grammar is hard to learn if you are not used to it. So the only technique that you know is you have to do a lot of practice practices. And yeah, you know that I just make a mistake about my grammar, so you actually don't need to be much attention to your grammar. Just try to speak it, and if you feel like you have mistake in your grammar, actually that means you're already good in grammar, because you realize that you know that you're wrong in your grammar. And that's what I know. Most of the next questions. Number Number 6. How do you set and track your language learning goals? This is related and proposal. So there is a strategy and the metacognitive. And the metacognitive strategy is proposed by O'Malley 1990. So it's called self-evaluating and self-monitoring. So it can help you to monitor your levels and monitor your understanding, evaluate yourself to get feedback for yourself, and to know uh, uh, what level are you up to. And then actually you can track your level, you can track your understanding with other people as well. If you talk to other people, like maybe for example people that is better than you in speaking, for example, let's just take example in speaking. If you know that they're much you know that if you know your level and you find something that is better than you, you'll know your level, you'll realize your level is not that good, and then you improve yourself anymore. You'll improve yourself better than this time. I don't know what I'm saying. Alright, next questions. What technique? How do you overcome challenges or frustration during the language learning process? Challenges and frustrations. I don't think I have found something like frustration, but challenges, of course. For example, when I get stuck when study grammar when studying grammar. So actually, I'm just uh, going to sleep, just relax, just listening to music I find challenges, and then when I feel like fresh again, I learn it again. Just like that. It's just simple. Don't make it complicated, dude. Number 13. What role does cultural understanding play in your language learning strategy? Cultural understanding. Cultural understanding. Oh my gosh. My cultural understanding. My cultural understanding. Yeah, you mean the culture in this area? Let me think. One culture. I don't know about that. I know one of that. For example, like we used to listening we used to listen to older people say. So for example, yeah, just like that, we used to listen to older people carefully. So because of that, we used to listen. I don't know what I'm saying. We just skip that. I don't think cultural understanding play in your language learning strategy. I don't think cultural understanding play a role in choosing language learning strategy, because it much refers to uh, it much refers to about individuals, not about cultural understanding. It may change sometimes. And then 14. How do you assess your progress in language learning strategy? Well, it is the same question actually, I think. You can just do the self monitoring or self evaluation. evaluate yourself, like for example, by doing a test. Like in English there is A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Just take the test, bro. And let's just move to the chapter 3. Number 1. What are the primary sources of literature on language learning strategy? Primary source of literature on language learning strategy. You can just search it, especially for me, I search it on Scholar and a lot of other journal. Yeah. There are a lot of journal relates to literature. So you can just find it on Google, or maybe you can search it on the library, nearest library. I often go to my campus library to find the book. Number 2, how do you define and categorize different language learning strategies in your research? Oh, this is so much lovely. It relates to my research. So I took the definitions from several experts, and of course they have also the taxonomy or the categorizations of their strategy. So that's in my research. There are two experts that I mentioned, that is Oxford and also O'Malley, and they have their own taxonomy or about the categorization of language learning strategy. So that's how I categorize it and define it. And then number 3, what qualitative or quantitative methods do you use to gather data on language learning strategies? I use quantitative. So in getting the data, I gather it through by conducting a questionnaire to the students and then interviewing them as well. And number 4, how do you assess the effectiveness of specific language learning strategies in your research? In my research, I didn't assess the effectiveness of the language learning strategy, but I want to find out what is the most used strategy by the students. And the next question, what role do surveys and questionnaire number 5, what role do surveys and questionnaires play in your research design? I didn't do surveys, I do questionnaires. So questionnaires play an important role because I use this questionnaire in order to collect the data. It's simple. Number 6, how do you ensure the reliability and validity of your research findings? I don't have the findings yet, so I can't answer these questions. The next questions, what challenges do you face when conducting research on language learning strategies? Challenges, as far as I know, the challenge is only on not a lot of research. There isn't a lot of research conducting. What? I can't find it. I can't find a source about language learning strategy who use O'Malley strategies. So that is the challenge that I found. That's it. Alright, let me take one last question. Let me take a look. You can't see it, right? You can. Number 12. How do you integrate technology and digital tools in your research on language learning strategy? How do you integrate? Oh, of course, I also, in my research, I also make use of technology, like, for example, SPSS. So SPSS can be done in a laptop or computer. Um, that's a tool to calculate or to measure uh, numbers in order to get a score for your research. That's it, I think. Alright, that's it. Thank you for your attention. I think I can't answer after the questions because it would take a lot of time. So I'm sorry about that. I hope it's clear, it's loud and clear for you guys. Right, thank you so much for your attention and see you.